So some of you might have seen my recently beach combing video. This is the butt end of the cedar that I got for Kevin over there at Sticks and Stones. And this is a shout out to Linda and her husband. This is going to be eagle. It's not going to be a nuck, but it's just going to be an eagle in a friggin' butt end of a log. This is Western red cedar. It's first growth. Now when I say first growth, means it's not planted by man. It's just an old tree that's been, it's grown from a seedling in an old forest, and it's had time to grow nice and slow, so the rings are super tight. You get lots of, the growth rings are not wide. They're really tight grain rings. This is from a big old cedar tree. Western red cedar, that is. So when I look at a piece, this is a big carving to do for a Dremel. It's like, you can see here, it's 2 foot high. It's 11 inches across. It's basically a foot across. And the depth I got in here is 6 inches at the thickest part, or 7 inches at the thickest part. You can see here, there's some surface cracks, but it's always good to get your piece. This is going to be hard to do on camera, but get your piece and look at the butt end, right? Make sure none of these cracks do go too far in here. This is bone dry. So this crack here goes there. That crack just stops right there, so we're safe. And another thing too, when you're working on a piece like this or like a table sitter, it's always good to, and everything is my opinion, it's always good to make sure the piece will sit flat on the table before you get into your carving, because then, well, you do your carving, then you don't have to worry about how it's going to sit flat. So, I got a lot of work to do to make this sit flat. You see it kind of leans back this way, and it's going to want to tip over really easy. I got to bring it forward, so I got to remove some wood on the front, and I'm going to hollow out underneath here and just make it so the surface, the outside surface, is stuck on the table. So what I plan on doing is, like I said, doing this isn't like a nuck. This is not a nuck. It's just going to be an eagle in a hollow part of a log. So I got to think of where I want to have the eagle in the hollow part of the log. So it would be like an owl and a nook. You can do whatever how you want to do it. So you guys can see that. I don't know how well you can see that line. So I'm not too sure if I want to clean up the outside of this wood or keep it naturally weathered like driftwood, because I like that how it's weathered up at the top there. So I'm not going to film too much doing this, but I'm going to cut this line out, and I'm going to remove all this old wood on the surface, make it nice and clean inside there, because I might use a transfer paper of an eagle. We're going to go for a bald eagle, probably looking like a firehawk or a thunderbird. I like thunderbirds. Might even call this one a thunderbird, because my old eagles kind of look like thunderbirds. I'm not a realism carver, so I just kind of carve what I want, but this is a lot of carving for a Dremel, and I'm not going to be able to finish this in one day. So how about I get, what I'm going to do, I know I get going here and it's like a mad panic and all this stuff. I got these burs, I got a couple, I got like 20 new ones. I go through them quick. These are these cheap Chinese burs. I am going to heat these ones up and dip them in oil. Just Carve Rob taught me how to do it. But this one here, I'm just going to go on the outside of this line, right? And then I'm going to take it deeper inside here, make it deeper. You can see here too, this, when I carve this out, right, and clean up all inside here, it's still going to be sticking farther off, because, well, the way the piece is, the eagle's still going to be sticking farther off than the outside. It's not a realistic piece. It's just, I'm going to be carving, and it's going to take me a few days to get this done, but I'm going to try my best. All right. It's been a few days since I've been able to work on this piece. I'm just busy doing other stuff, and the show must go on. So, Easter egg. Looks like a big Easter egg, but let's try and make this look like I said, this is not a nuke, or a knuck, or a knock, or a hook. It's just a piece of art, and let's hope it turns out to be okay. So, drawing the eagle on. You can make it facing forward, side view this way, so you see the wing. This is going to be a side view wing, so the beak's facing this way or this way. Which way do I want to do it? You got to think. If you look at an eagle's picture, and we're not going for realism, people here. I'm kind of reverting back to my old style eagles. Let me see if this mic's working. Yes, the mic's working. I'm reverting back to my older style eagles, but I have learned a few things from Ryan Cook and my buddy Ben, and Stephen Kinzora has kind of told me a few things. You know, so the head's farther back than the wing if you're looking at the side view. So where do this, like right here, sticks the farthest. I don't know if you guys can see on the video, but right here sticks the farthest off the piece. So, you know, we want to try and make this kind of round, like eagles are round, not round, but oval shaped. You know, they're just not straight. So we want to try and give this one some shape. So this part's already pushed back here. It's so, I don't know if you can, it's so hard to explain, but you see this is already, so this is already farther away from you. So that's where we'll put the head, because here we'll put the wing and then we can give it some like roundness, if that makes shape. And I'm not no pro eagle carver, or I'm not a pro carver. I just kind of wing it and I just get it done. So I got a pencil here, and we're gonna mark it on with a pencil, because we can erase the lines that we don't like. Then once we get the final proof on, we got a pen here, Studio on the Lake red pen, and we will put it on with the red pen. So like I said, you can, you know, it doesn't have to be, if you look at native eagles, or like the eagles in Africa, they're all different. You know, it doesn't, you don't have to try and push for realism, you know, like it's carving is also art. Carving is like painting, and sometimes painters just make abstract. So I think your final goal out of this, if it somewhat represents an eagle, then you're good. Because if people look at the piece and say, oh, that's an eagle, then you've completed your job. You know, if it turns out to be a parrot, which is a good chance it might turn out to be a parrot, well then just sell it and say, yeah, I carved a parrot, paint it blue and yellow and purple and call it a parrot, right? But you know, like you just learn as you go. So do I want to have like a landing for this eagle? Do I want to make it sitting on rocks here? You think his wing will come down here. So let's make it so like this will be, you know, because we want to have some talons sticking off the side here, right? So then this can be rocks right here. And then we'll have his talons right there. So we're safe to put our pen mark on there. And sorry everybody if I'm not making any sense. I just got a lot of shit on my mind. So that will be rocks, and we can carve rocks, excuse me, or whatever we want in here. And so I think it's best if I draw this on with a pencil before I start drawing it on, because then I can collect my thoughts and concentrate, put some music on, and just kind of scope it out a bit, and then we'll do the final with the red. Okay. So there's a lot of things to say. So what this will be is like a crouching eagle. You guys ever heard of that? You know, crouching tiger? Well, this is a crouching eagle. He's just kind of set back. His head's shrunken into his shoulders. He's resting. He just kind of, he's on his nest or wherever, and he's just sitting there just doing whatever he wants to do. You can see here I started off with pencil. Then I did a red marker. Then I did a final black marker. But I'm not even sure that I like this right now. I know I don't like, a good tip that Stephen Kinzora told me, well, a couple of them are, is, you know, Alexa, pause. Fuck. good tip that sorry about that. Good tip that Stephen Kutzall told me was just remember, eagles can always look straight down. Eagles can always look straight down. So when he said, I think that's all he said to me really. When he said that, that means like, the heads should be thicker and then the beak thinner. So if this eagle looks straight down, his beak will be thinner and he can see past his beak because it's thinner here, right? And he also said a bigger beak looks better than a beak that's too big looks better than a beak that looks too small. I think that's what he said. So my beaks are always I've struggled with eagles. I'm not gonna lie. Like, wood spirits are fun. It doesn't matter how it turns out. But my eagles, I want them to look somewhat real. But then I've kind of got past that point now, where I'm like, I want to improve my eagles, but the way I do my eagles is the way I do my eagles, and they're basically a bit more native style. If you can look at like eagles on totem poles, or eagles that their heads, and this is where I always struggle, the heads are always, for realism, or my heads are always bigger than they should be. Like, this is the eagle's body here, right? And you see I got his talon cut in here, drew in here, and see how I started smaller than bigger, because it's better to make your talons bigger than smaller. Who cares if this guy has huge talons, because then at least you see the talon and it's an aggressive talon. I like my eagles to look aggressive, right? Like eagles do. But if you look at the totem poles, or just type in native eagle carvings, the heads are always bigger than the body. It doesn't matter, as long as you give off the impression that it's an eagle, then you've done your job. So I just made a video about these cheap Chinese bits, thanks to Just Carve Rob. I dipped this in hot, I heated it up, and then I dipped it in canola oil or whatever. But now this is a cheap Chinese burr. Now they won't get dull so fast. So now this is a tip Ryan Cook taught me, and he's made lots of videos on it, and he says it on lots of videos how important it is. So with this bit, I'm going to cut deep in here. I'm going to cut like probably that deep, all the way around this, right? All the way around, everything. Right? I'm just going to, well, it's called blocking it out. I'm going to block it out. I'm going to cut all the way around. And when you do this, you got your lines there. Because you can transfer an eagle with a piece of paper and transfer paper too, right? So you got to make sure that you stay true to your lines, not like tilt off over here or tilt off over here. Stay true and square to your lines when you're cutting it. Because if you tilt off over here and then you're cutting inside there, when I go to round this off, well, there's going to be less material there, if that makes sense. So it's so important to cut true to your line, nice and square all the way around, okay? Not like this. And this is just my opinion. This is what I've heard and what I've been taught. And even here, this beak's thin, so I'm gonna cut the beak in bulkier. But so you guys understand, this might not turn out. I don't care. If it doesn't turn out, I'll freaking blast off a wood spirit. It's just about enjoying the process and learning. So one more thing, after I'm done that step, then I got to remove all this wood around here, right? I got to make it so there's a little bit of land here, and there's this claw, this talon. I got to remove all this wood behind here to get this eagle to pop out. So I'm not going to stop and talk after I cut this line. I'm going to use like a burr like this. Is a Kutzall Extreme Flame Burr. Guys, if you want to get these burrs, go to the Kutzall site listed below in the description, and maybe save yourself 5%, but this is my favorite burr here. This is a Kutzall Extreme Flame Burr, and I might pull out my Fordham and my ram carver. If anybody, I'm not going to talk into how the struggle is real right now, but if anybody wants to support the channel, I've been getting a lot of messages how to support. Somebody even mentioned that I started I think it was Tom, mentioned that I started a Patreon, but I'm not going to go that route yet. There's always hope. You can buy a t-shirt. It's all listed below. My PayPal's below. I'm not asking for anything. I've always done everything on my own. I do what I gotta do. There's something that I don't like about this head. Maybe it's a little bit too round, I think. But there's my friggin' stuff to be able to support the channels listed below. Sorry. There, that's better. I like giving the eagles a little bump on the top of their head. Much better, Daniel-san. Daniel-san? Wax on, wax off. Oh, one more thing too. I can go on and on and on. I got a lot of shit to talk about right now, but this is focused on this video. If you guys hear some good old green grass hillbilly banjo music in the background, it's for the voice for the. I'm gonna do a time lapse. It's my buddy over there at Rock of Ages. Hey Rock, thanks for the video that you made me saying that about my other channel, buddy. I love you. And to tell you the truth, man, I think I've told you before, I love the banjo. When you pulled that banjo out and you started playing it, man, it gave me a couple tears. So here's a tribute to Rock of Ages, the heaviest political YouTuber, chainsaw carver, tree faller, hillbilly there is out banjo playing, hillbilly on YouTube. It's him playing the banjo.
Well, we'll try Cripple Creek or something, and then see how it works out. I just don't really know. Let's see here. Something like that. Let's see here. I don't know what that was. It's just up to figure that out on your own. Let's do our flower away here. No, that ain't it.
True to the line. True to the line. This would be true to the line. Am I true to the line? Not really. You can see I cut in there a little bit. Let's see here if we can get you some shadow action going on here. That's straight on. See that gap in there? That means I did not cut true to the line, but it's okay. It's all right. You guys can see all the depth that I've put in here. Depth, depth, depth up under here, undercuts, depth here. That's how you get those shadows like that. So now, Yes, this eagle has a huge head. It's a dinosaur eagle. It's whatever kind of eagle I want it to be. The head is big right now. It's better bigger because you can always make it smaller. It's if you draw it on, carve it in true to the line around the outside too small, you're gonna have a lot of hard time making it a lot bigger. So always draw it on big if you're scared. And, you know, I kind of wish I would have carved this out square, like a rectangle, instead of doing all the beacon stuff yet, but I still got lots of room. And this eagle head, I kind of wish I drew it on straight, because this guy's kind of looking down now, but that's okay. It's how I make my eagles look aggressive. So I don't even know if this is going to work. All you do is hope. But you got about 2 inches in there. We still got tons of room to carve. Like, look how so subtract 2 inches from here, we're going about here. Well, we got lots of room left to carve deeper back here if we want. If we got to push this back, everybody pushing back, if you don't know, means friggin' carving deeper. Hi, Spike and Linda. This video is the shout out video for you and your husband. Anyways, carry on. So now what I got to do, because you can see I got some roundness here. I'm not even going to sure how I'm going to connect that back wing, because you got to think that the wing folds in the back and this wing tucks under that wing or vice versa. But now what I'm going to do is, actually, you know what? I should have carved that deeper. Push this line back in more. It's okay. We'll figure it out. We got lots of room to carve it out in depth, right? You got depth, and as long as you give yourself lots of extra wood, like this. This is all extra wood from here, there. So we got lots of room to fix that mistake. Now I'm gonna have to carve off my whole face, because I gotta carve the head, because the wings would, if you're looking at a side view of the eagle, and I know I'm fucking babbling, I'm sorry. The eagle wings would would come closer to, Jordy, take a pause break. If you're looking at a side view of an eagle, the wing would be closest to you and the head would be farther away. Does that make sense? So what I need to do is I need to move this wood around this wing and push this face a lot farther back, because then if I carve this face farther back from this wing, like that much, then I can make the top of this wing, it's round this way, but then I can make it round this way too. Comprende? Comprende. So a little tip to everybody, if you, like I said, I'm going to have to carve all this off. You might want to take a picture before you carve it off so you knew how you drew it on. Or you might even want to get your paper and a friggin' a transfer paper, and transfer it out so you can transfer it back on. Comprende? Thanks for making the video, Evo Rick. Thanks to everybody else too for all the amazing support out there. And BAP, that video that BAP made of the little leprechaun in the Ireland. Thanks, BAP. So this video is a shout out to BAP as well over there at I Can Carve. That's number 1. So you can see here. Also, I didn't say earlier, I carved some mountains. I was just into the zone. I carved some mountains. So here would be his talon, or her talon. Here would be the talon here. Then these might be backgrounds in the mountain. So I blocked out this wing. I took the forehead, sloped it back a bit. You guys can see a side view there. Just carve Rob's side view. So I think what I want to do now is give another shout out to Stephen Kenzora. You know, Steve is the first chainsaw carver that actually said, you know what, Jordy? You just keep being you. Don't worry about what anybody thinks of your art. Don't worry about any bullshit. Steve's a lot like me. Steve's a lot like me in a lot of ways. But look, he can say what he wants when he wants. Because I'm a, well, it's like because of the YouTube and stuff like that. I forget the name of it, but I can't really say what I want when I want. But I do my best to say what I want when I want. But so I've seen Steve did this awesome chainsaw carving eagle, and he made his wing stick out like it's kind of stretching its wing out. Your wing doesn't have to be glued to the body, you know. So I think like this, you guys still see it's square. I still need to round this whole thing off. So I think what I'm going to do here is round this off, this body part here, and then make this wing go kind of like he's half stretching his wing out. He's letting people know that there's his wing, and you know it's the wing of Thor or something or whatever. So I'm going to get this wing to pop off more because I'm going to round off inside the eagle here more and even under the wing. So it's about carving deeper under this wing and rounding it off inside. And also this head, you know, I've been drinking my coffee, listening to music and just relaxing. And there's still a way, you know, there's a way to make this head a lot smaller now because I can still cut it here. You know, this isn't the eagle's head when it's perched up, like it's got a long neck, and then the head would become like its neck would be going here, and then it would just look at side view pictures of eagle on Google. Its neck would be coming here, and then his head would be coming off here. But I think if let me just get a pen here. The studio on the lake, he doesn't like red pen. Just kidding. Anyways, so if I cut this part off here. You know, if I could cut this part off here, get rid of all this wood, you know, that's beaks here. Kind of this. There's already been so much work going into this piece. Just don't know. Then his eye kind of hit down here. See, that's going more the parrot look because its beak's smaller. But just to give you guys an idea, like I might make his head actual really smaller than it is right now. But that's going to be for the second video because this is going to be a series. But what I'm going to do right now, and I can't really film too much when I'm carving because I just can't. I'm going to round this off. See right now? It's square. Now I'm going to take it and I'm going to round it off. I haven't done the undercut behind this eagle yet because I'm not sure if I might need to push it back. Pushing it back, I might need to carve the eagle even deeper into here in case I make a mistake, right? So I'll do the undercut once I know the final shape of the eagle is good for me. And you know, I know this video is more talking, less carving. If it bothers, I would like to hear you guys' opinion. If you want to see more carving, less talking, or if everything's fine the way I'm doing it now, because, you know, it doesn't really matter what I think. When you're watching the videos, it basically matters what you guys think. And another thing too, please, when you see a video on YouTube, I'm not talking for myself, I'm talking for everybody. When you see a video on YouTube and you like that video, you actually like it, can you hit the like button? It helps the channels out. It helps YouTube recognize that people are enjoying your videos and to suggest it to other people watching your videos. Thank you. That's a carving confusion for beginner wood carvers commercial break. So there always needs to be a time for myself when you need to sit back and just kind of look at your piece and visualize. Let your kind of imagination go, drink your coffee, drink your beer, whiskey, whatever you want to drink, and just kind of see what's happening with the piece. So when I'm sitting here staring at this piece, I don't know if you guys can see it right now, but I see this. There's a little friggin' dinosaur bird. I should say, if there's no scale in this, there's no scale at all, like I'm talking about human scale or eagle scale or fish scale. There's no scale right now, and there won't be any scale. So when I look at this piece, what do I think? Well, I think art. Just think art, Jordy, and just explore and open your mind. See, I got the things change. As you carve deeper, you need to correct things. You need to get rid of the things that don't go good and then make some things that go good. And like I said from the beginning of this video, this eagle is going to have big talons. So there's a block out of a big talon in the background right there. That would be his middle one. And then I kind of see this one like this. And that could be a little rock in there. There's so much more work to do. Like I said, I'm going to draw in the background, but I should have put the head on square, carved this on square, because then after all that you can do the detail. You can carve the head the way you want to carve the head instead of quickly blocking it out. And is that wet there? Yeah, that might be a little bit wet there. So this is going to be the end of the video, because this is going to, I'm far from done this. Everyone's far from done it. Let's see here. If we make his beak like this, I'm going to, if this doesn't look good, I'm going to get rid of it. And, well, I'll sound it off and draw another one. Then his eye will be here, like this. Then the mouth will be there like that. I got told by a few people that the bottom of the lip needs to be, if you're looking for realism and scale, it's kind of the center of the eye. And if you look at an eagle, the eye, I think the beak might be higher than the eye. I'm not too sure. I don't have a picture to look at for reference, but it's good for you guys. When I do this carving tomorrow, I'm done for the day, but when I do this tomorrow, I'm going to have a picture of a head, the eagle's head, on the wall right here for me to look at when I'm carving it. And then, see, this kind of goes like this. Then you got to give him a cheekbone I was taught. It still looks like a Muppets. Lots of my eagles looks like the Muppets eagle. You know, I could also extend the neck up higher and then shoot for the realism. You know, so this would be carved out. Then that will be his beak here. Then his eye. It's open ball field. It's all an experiment, everybody. I know this video is a little bit long. Don't care. Thank you, everybody, for so much support. It's friggin' amazing. It's actually overwhelming. And I'm telling you, through this whole ordeal, I'm not going to say what it is, but most of you people know. I've been very humbled